Shalom Aleichem. So, Holden, he's really not a bad guy, as some would think he is. And we can see this through his emotion. You would think, oh, he fails in school, he gets kicked out, he must be one of these, these punk reject types. But he's really not. As I said before, he's really more of a romantic personality. But this is not folly. He is very bold and daring in his actions, though this is not all there is that is common to a romantic personality. The romantics, I feel, also put great effort into a certain type of wisdom, which can be attested to in the poems and art with which they express themselves. Holden, however, is somewhat ambiguous on this point. We can tell by him calling other people morons and his perceived understanding of the world that he thinks he's pretty smart, and he knows he is. Although he fails most of his subjects, and it is not really because he's lazy or doesn't want to do work, but rather because he is unmotivated. He rationalizes doing good in school by telling himself that he could do good in school if he wanted to, but he doesn't choose to. This is because there is a certain knowledge that he does not want. There are many reasons for this, and they all come back to this analogy of him being the catcher in the rye. He doesn't want to know this information because it will lead him to fall off the cliff. And the institutions that can give him this wisdom represent this fall. As Holden himself says, the schools he goes to are always full of phonies, which is the term he usually uses to describe anything specifically referring to adult sensibility. There is a quote by Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa in Pirkei Avot. He says, anyone whose deeds are greater than his wisdom will remain with him. But anyone whose wisdom is greater than his deeds, his wisdom will not remain with him. So we can see by this, if someone has wisdom but not deeds, he's going to lose his wisdom. If he has wisdom and deeds, he can keep his wisdom. So you need both wisdom and deeds. So we come to the part in the story where Holden goes to sleep over his old English teacher, Mr. Antolini's house. We can feel that this English teacher is someone kind of close to Holden and someone that Holden looks up to. Their conversation together brings all of what I previously said together. And I feel Mr. Antolini would highly agree with the pasuk I just read. He knows that Holden is going to grow up, and that Holden is going to want to take action. Though if he takes these actions without the wisdom and the real understanding attainable through this knowledge, his fall is going to be terrible, as he says. He knows that Holden cannot stay in the rye and change society, and if he doesn't indulge the fall, he will not be able to make any changes he might want to in the future. Holden is going to have to comply with society in order to obtain the knowledge to fix it. At the end of Mr. Antolini's speech, he says that with the wisdom Holden will obtain, he will be able to contribute something to society, to the world, and he will be able to leave behind valuable records. This, in a sense, comes back to the point I made before about the romantics and their writing. Holden can only achieve this full romantic sensibility if he acquires this knowledge, with which he can make an impact on the world, just like the old romantics.